anything.
Des fois, c'est fait. Le prix d'amis pour tout le monde. Parce qu'on est généreux depuis 1960.
Hey, I just want to take a minute for you. It's called from the country. How much credit card you grant is on cash stop folder. Do not let banks punish you any further with your credit. We will get you approved. Sometimes we require a little bit of money down, but we will get you approved. I've got 3 finance managers on site, massive selection. Whether you want to buy a small travel trailer to more home of your dreams, or even a boat, we will get you financed. We work with multiple lenders, multiple opportunities. We work hard for you. We will buy that program, we bring it back after a year, we'll get you out of that loan and get you to the interest rate you deserve. Do not let banks punish you for a small problem you may have years ago. Come and see us, Big Country RVs, over 15, and we will get you financed.
Guys, anytime we have just found the most insane family on there. I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but have y'all seen this family before?
Big crispy. Big Mac. 6-piece nuggets. Burger shake. 10-piece nuggets. Cheeseburger. Quarter pounder. Very hot. Big pizza.
It gets to a point. Also, welcome to my channel. It's Courtney. Y'all, this is Izzy, and this is Mary. There are 2 sisters that have become very popular on TikTok for these grab the food challenge videos. And the videos are very straightforward. Someone that's behind the camera will call out the food, and you'll grab what is called out. That's it. It's just that simple. As you can see, every time a food is called out, Izzy's quick to grab it. She don't waste time. Think about her, she's gonna win this game. At some point, Mary's actually grabbing things. But it's not long until Izzy is back in the game. She even gets a little competitive and starts screaming like, "Calm down, girls, calm down." You need this. Eventually, Izzy takes home the pound for grabbing the most amount of food. She's grabbing it so quickly, I'm not even sure if she's hearing the second syllable.
You see what cheese nuggets?
She's back there. Izzy. Okay. You know what? Let's take a break. Also, when did McDonald's get pizza?
McPizza?
Like, you're selling burgers, fries, and then pizza, that feels random. Anyways, this is the very first video I saw of them, and I'm sorry, I had to do a deep dive. I needed to know the backstory. So Izzy and Mary are actually 2 stars of the YouTube channel Life with Brothers that focuses on food, challenges, toys, and slime. They also have their own individual TikTok pages, but their grab the food challenge videos are actually on their dad TikTok page. It seems like this is the only type of content they've been making as of late. Y'all, the views. Is that obviously people are liking it.
Blue glazed donut.
That's all I have to do.
I know you have to scream because of broccoli, man. What's all the pushing for? The food is not going anywhere. It's actually still on that table. It's right there.
Dr. Pepper.
No. She picked up that Dr. Pepper before the words were even fully uttered. I don't even think she said the first letter of Dr. Pepper. And she grabbed it. Look.
Sorry, Dr. Pepper.
Did y'all hear that? Did you see the hand? The hand is on the drink when she said the word diet. I was embarrassed. Like, can you read her mind?
Broccoli.
So every time we gonna call broccoli, you're gonna panic like you're about to touch a roach? No.
Shamrock shake.
Let go. I got something wrong with you.
Squash.
Donut. This is so interesting to me because what are we doing here? I feel like, as a parent, you can only imagine what the comments will say. This has to be raging. Yeah, I'm telling you, the comments are worse than this. I don't even want to read them because this is wrong.
Red glazed donut.
That was mine!
Carrot.
Daddy, that hurt.
You mushed her and you mushed her face. Why are you doing that? Where's Izzy and Mary's dad? The channel is called Izzy and Mary's dad, and yet I don't see Izzy and Mary's dad, except in the profile picture. Dad, Miguel, where are you? Your kids are fighting. Step in.
Birthday cake. Red carpet.
Oh my God.
Carrot cake.
Oh no, thank you. Vegetable cake?
Vegetable cake or carrot cake? This is crazy. But you know what? I never thought about it because that is a vegetable. I will go ham on a carrot cake. pushing. The pushing is in every single video. Are we allowing such behaviors? Do I have to become a parent?
Yo.
Because if I become the parent, it's gonna be strict in that house.
Oreo cheesecake. Friend.
I got it already.
Yo.
Did someone just fart? Did someone just fart? Did someone fart in this video in front of all this food? Don't tell me that's what I just heard.
I got it already.
I know somebody who just farted in front of all this food because that's like a level of dirty that I cannot respect. I just cannot. I'm the type of person I'm very particular about my food, farting, burping, any of that while my food is in front of me. Yeah, I might not talk to you for the next 45 minutes. You're just ruining my mood. Like, I'm gonna try and move on from it, but like, I'll be irritated. And I don't know why. I just feel like Mary did it. And I also want to know why no one reacted. Is this the norm? Like, I need to see a flinch or like a shock. A fart was released and everyone just continued their day. I just don't get this family. I think in this video they wanted to switch it up and do the veggie edition. Let's see how this went. Because what I can see right now is that this video has 1.3 million likes.
Garden salad.
Why was this here?
She said garden salad and my girl touched carrots. What's going on? Like, this might be a little scripted. Because why are you touching carrots?
Zucchini.
Every time she tries to pick something, it's incorrect. I can't lie. I think I would have lost this game as well, though, just because I think she said pick up zucchini and she picked up the cucumber. What's the difference? Oh, let me see what a zucchini is. I've seen zucchini in this one. If I went to a grocery store and they said, oh, pick up the zucchini, you cannot pay me to accurately select the right thing. Like, I'm just now learning this is what it looked like. Cucumber versus zucchini. This is basically the same thing. I don't know. Something about this just feels wrong. Like, I'm not sure if this is planned or not, but it just feels that way. Like, I feel like the parents are purposely making Izzy come off as somebody that only knows junk food and fast food, which is kind of crazy. Like, I don't even want to believe that that could be the truth, because why would a parent do that? Why would a parent set their child up to be bullied by the internet? I would think that they love their child so much that they wouldn't set them up for something like this. But when money and views start going up, morals drop over them. Like, immediately. TikTok comments are ruthless. Like, everyone knows how TikTok is. Everyone knows how TikTok comments are. It's one thing posting a video that's like embarrassing on the internet. It's another thing when that embarrassing video you post on the internet hits the For You page and everybody in the comment has seen the video. And then you go to the comments and every comment is attacking and bullying you. I don't even know how people do it. Because every time I see like a crazy video on TikTok and then I read the comments and the comments are wild, it's like, why is this video still up? I would have been deleted it. I would have deleted it with the quickness. I don't waste time because I'm not gonna let people bully me. On my own phone, y'all are stronger than me. Because for me, all attention isn't good attention. And I'm telling you, every single video they're getting on Izzy's head. This page, like I said, is called Izzy and Mary's Dad. Meaning Izzy and Mary's dad is seeing all the comments. And yet they continue to make rapid food challenge videos where they're attacking Izzy. And guess who's behind the camera? Her mom. Oh, what are you doing? I'm gonna show your face because I'm trying to pull it out. I'm trying to pull it out. Like child endangerment or something. Allegedly. I don't know what else to say. Like, you know, sometimes I be saying stuff. It's like, oh, this is sweet. I just feel like this is crazy. I would never do this to my own daughter. Okay, one thing about me, I'm gonna go to war for my family. Even I'm thinking about like my sisters and stuff, like my brother. Like, I'm allowed to talk about that. I'm say everything under the sun about my siblings. But the moment another person says it, I just feel like I go, like, I just instantly get angry. Like, the anger just
Fuels my body and I want to destroy you.
so I can't even imagine, like, as a parent, you're reading these comments about your own daughter, and your brain says, let's make another video just like this. Let's make more. What's wrong with you?
Hey kids, ready? Salad. Salad. Salad.
See what? Like, the mom knows exactly what she's doing. She's calling it out. Like, I know the mom is sitting behind the camera like, yes, this is gonna do good. Salad. No, that is like peak evilness. Like, I think that's a bit evil. I'm not going to, like, you know she's not going to pick it up. And you keep calling it out. So people in the comments can make fun of her. What's going on? Do we need to call the people to check in on this family? I don't know.
Chicken Alfredo. Breadsticks.
No, I messed up.
Not the whole box, did it?
Why do y'all have a whole box of breadsticks? I didn't even know Olive Garden sells this many breadsticks as an option. Like, I used to work at Olive Garden. Like, I would know. They must have catered that because you got the whole entire box. Who was going to eat it? They even have a series where they give Mary a fair chance at beating Izzy. And so they blindfold Izzy. Is anyone else feeling like like this is like a form of humiliation. Why do you keep watching her?
Fair chance at crumble cookie.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I'm not understanding how you are blindfolded in this. You are blindfolded and yet you pushed her out the frame and still got the correct cake. How do you know you went all the way to the other side and grabbed the correct cake? You know something we know.
Chocolate cake better. Wafers with cake better.
No.
Right side cookie.
How?
Wafers with cake better.
How?
Ice oatmeal.
How?
Chocolate cake better.
How is she getting this correct? The video is not cutting. Like, she has the table memorized. Izzy, put me on. This is more than photographic memory. This is food-ographic memory. And we need to start embracing this behavior because her memory is phenomenal. And also, if I was married, girl, how do you lose to somebody that can't even see? I might just have to be on Izzy's side with this. It's like you're allergic to winning. I don't know. Izzy is fully blindfolded. She cannot see nothing. We need to go back to the drawing board. You need to start studying a little bit more. Go back. I don't know. Class is in session. Izzy's gonna be your teacher because obviously you don't know any food on the menu. You don't know anything. Think of how the girls running for food.
What? Chocolate cookie.
Bring the parents out. Bring the parents out. Y'all need a meeting. Bring them out. Bring them out because I don't like this. Somebody call the people because I don't understand. You have your kids running for food for a stranger's entertainment. I need to see the mom's face because I can't imagine a mom like being okay with their child being bullied. Maybe I can't because I'm literally witnessing it. Why are you personally embarrassing your child on the internet for money? Like, get a job. Like on the lowest, like he's pathetic. You are letting your child get bullied on the internet. You just probably laughing with all the money in your bank account. This is sad. And they post every single day, y'all. Where is the food going? I feel like I'm gonna be asking this every single time because I'm genuinely curious. Where's the food going? Y'all gotta be giving it to somebody because this is crazy. I don't hate when people's content though is food because it's like think about like the people that do mukbangs also and they get exposed for actually throwing away the food and not actually eating all of it. It's like you're doing all of this for content. You're lying for content. You're wasting food for content, and I find it so lame. It's also even becoming a trend to pretend to be like Izzy and Mary.
Anna. Airhead. Gracie.
This is wrong. If somebody made a video like this of my daughter, but you know what Izzy and Mary's parents do? They see this video, they actually like it. They probably even repost it. She's only 16, so she's probably in high school. How is school like? You know, you can get all these views, all the money in the world and stuff, but school is when you're gonna really experience life.
Cake better.
So y'all doing the pushing again. This is just scripted. I'm gonna just fully accept that it's scripted. I don't think that Izzy is actually like this. The parents have told their kids to do this. I think that kind of makes this entirely worse. Just because it's not real. You're scripting it. You're purposely telling your daughter to act like she doesn't know anything but fast food. I wish it was a fly on the wall when they have like their family meetings, they're planning their content. So what did they tell Izzy specifically like
Turtle cheesecake.
Turtle? That sounds unappetizing. Didn't you eat your turtle because you named it snack time?
this is so scripted. Didn't you eat your turtle because you named it snack time? I'm thinking that joke would never run in my household. Like my siblings would eat me up so bad. Like be like, you thought we were gonna laugh. You lost me. That small little line just told me everything I need to know. My mom probably planned that one. She definitely told Mary, look, this is what you're gonna say. I'm gonna call out turtle cheesecake and you're gonna make a little joke to make it seem like your sister is really, really obsessed with eating it. Okay?
That's the cake.
Stop eating it!
Like, what is this? The video starts with Mary pushing her sister's head into a cake. And then in the middle, you see a random cake with a broccoli head in the middle. Let's see what happens when it's time for the broccoli cake.
Veggie cake.
What is this? Am I shocked? Mary went for the broccoli cake. I'm not shocked.
Steak.
Dan, I'm not eating on you.
Cheese and snack.
I feel confused. Why are you saying this? And the mom just, she don't even care.
I'm not eating on you.
Cheese and snack.
She just continues listing out food items. Now, come on. They probably did multiple takes just so Izzy can get the eat option. They definitely did multiple takes. That's how the video started, y'all. Izzy and Mary
We told the waiter to take Izzy's food while she was still eating. So good. I'm gonna order the bag. This is so good. It's so good. I'm still eating. No, I'm still eating.
It's too much already. It's too much. How can you say such a thing? It's too much already. It's just a laughing stock of the family. That's what it feels like. And then also, this is definitely scripted, like I said. Because how you start the video and you're like, this is so good, I'm gonna order it again. You trying to feed into the role you're supposed to be playing. We need to stop this. Even when they go out, they have strangers making fun of her.
Oh, it's not already.
At this point, they're just forcing her to eat. Why do I see 2 burgers? That's it. That's literally the video. It's just her eating and her sister peeking. That's literally the video. I'm just in disbelief. I don't understand this family. I low-key justice for
This
it.
one,
Hashtag
this one.
justice for it. I really want
one,
her to
this one,
realize what's
this one.
happening and then stop making these videos. Because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, if Izzy's not in these videos, these people will not get views. Izzy's the money maker, but I really don't like how they're going about it because right now, Izzy might be okay with it, but we don't know how she's gonna feel down the line. Like, folks try to control the way that the video's getting views. I don't want to disappoint my family. You know what I mean? Eventually, I feel like I'll realize, wait, only way my family's making money is if I get bullied for it. My mental health is just going down the drain. Like, this is actually one of their most viewed videos, and I just don't understand, like, continue making this type of content. What's the issue? Like, this video has 8 million likes, fun and family friendly. Like, this is the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Instead of humiliating your daughter for views, why don't you just continue making content like this? Y'all don't exploit your children for views. Thinking about, like, the family channels in general, I'm just so iffy about them because at the end of the day, yes, people like your family and they're watching for your family, but realistically, most people are watching for your kids. In my head, I feel like if you can't make content without your kids being in every single video, I don't really see you as like a content creator. Your kids are the stars. It's always like a weird situation because your kids are the stars. Without the kids, your channel, your content would be nothing. Yet you definitely see all the money. But it just feels like exploitation. Like, I don't know all the facts. It just feels wrong. You know? Don't exploit your kids for views and money. You just so pathetic and lame. And desperate. Happy on desperate. I'm yet to see them up. So I can stay behind that camera. Yeah, like I said, this is the craziest family I've seen in a very long time. And to be honest, when I first saw these videos, I was like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Like, it caused a reaction in me. Because I was like, hold on, bro. Why do you know the whole entire thing? But then I started to look deeper. And I was like, hold on. Your parents run your content. I'll have hella channels. They have a YouTube channel, y'all, with almost 7 million subscribers. Their TikTok page has almost 6 million followers. And then the daughters have their own individual channels. Like, I just feel like they're probably making so much money, getting so many views, and they cannot stop. Like, they're just like, oh, okay, we started bullying our daughter online. I guess we have to continue. Y'all, that is it for the video. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for coming. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here.
No, good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm feeling alright, baby. I'm gonna watch another.
Yup, fuels. Precision. Yup, fuels.
Every day is an opportunity for a fresh start. My job is to help Canadians from all walks of life find solutions to their financial hardships. Debt can happen to anyone. All it takes is losing your job, an unexpected bill, maybe a relationship falling apart. It's easy to feel trapped and not know what to do. Helping people experience a life without debt is why I do what I do. Let's see what options are out there for you.
Debt-free starts today. Call Grant Thornton at 1-844-4TT-DEBT for a free consultation.
So this woman wants to unalive her somewhat famous husband so that she can be with someone much worse. Now the woman's name is Victoria. She's around 30 years old, she's living in Nevada, and one day she meets someone kind of famous. This guy, Aaron. And Aaron's around 45, and he's one of the hosts of this TV show, Ghost Adventures, where they go around to different haunted places looking for paranormal activity. And so Victoria meets Aaron, and she thinks he's kind of fun. And soon enough, they start dating, and they fall in love, and eventually they get married. And they have their wedding at the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland because, you know, ghosts. But anyway, things are going great for them. They're in love, Aaron is on a successful TV show, it doesn't seem like anything could screw this up. Until... A few years go by, and for some reason, though they haven't been married that long, Victoria starts feeling lonely. Maybe it's because Aaron's off filming his show all the time, or maybe it's because she's jealous of the attention he gets and she doesn't. I mean, I'm speculating here. We don't really know why she's lonely. But Victoria starts becoming unhappy. The thing is, it seems like Aaron doesn't really know that she's feeling this way. Maybe she's just not communicating this with him. But one day in 2024, everything changes because she's watching this true crime docuseries. A docuseries about this guy, Grant. Grant is 35 and he's actually in prison right now. Why is Grant in prison? Well, if you remember, about a month back, we actually covered Grant's story. If you don't remember him, let me remind you of what he did. One day in 2019, he comes across a cam girl site, and he starts watching this cam girl. Her name's Sylvie. And Grant thinks Sylvie is fine, and he starts donating money to her. And over time, he becomes obsessed with her, and he starts stealing money from his family members to donate to her. In fact, little by little, he steals over $200,000 from his family, and he just donates it all to Sylvie. And his family becomes desperate to get him to stop talking to her, so they end up taking his phone away. And in retaliation for taking his phone away, he gets a pew-pew, and he unalives his mom, his dad, and his brother. So for that, he gets convicted, and he gets life in prison, which he is currently serving. Here's the crazy thing, though. Prison hasn't actually stopped Grant from being obsessed with women. I mean, he's kind of well known now. Like, his story is famous. He had a whole ass docuseries made on him. And because of that, I guess women around the country have been writing to him while he's in prison. Like, oh my god, you're so fine. As if he didn't just get convicted of murdering his whole family because he couldn't have this cam girl. No, these women want him. Like, sometimes he'll have phone contact with them and he'll respond all creepy like,
"Hi, my precious little kitty. I want so many more pictures and videos. This is just amazing.
seems like a nice guy. I really want to get to know him. And that is when apparently So by the year 2000, they have 4 kids. 4 kids is a lot, but see, Make it look like a burglary gone wrong if you could. And then he gives them their address and he attaches their photos and a $16,000 Bitcoin payment and he hits submit. But then he's like, holy shit, and he immediately panics and cancels it. The next day, I guess he changes his mind yet again and he resubmits his order. Also, apparently, he has the audacity to ask the Hitman website if he can get a discount on these murders, since both the victims live in the same house. Bro is really trying to get a buy one murder, get one free. But anyway, after submitting, Pence waits, and he waits, and he waits. But yet, nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? Well, that's probably because this Hitman website isn't being run by hitmen at all. It's actually a scam website being run by some guys in Romania. And so these scam artists just take the $16,000 in Bitcoin Pence paid them, and they bounce. And they're never heard from again. Bro got scammed. Oh, but it gets much worse for Pence. Because all the way over in the UK, there's a British hacker who's secretly been hacking this Hitman website, and he's feeding the hacked information to a bunch of TV producers who are making some kind of murder-for-hire TV show. And all that information is also being forwarded to the FBI. And so the FBI looks into this, and now they know that this guy Pence tried to put a hit out on these other guys, Mr. and Mrs. Cordero. And so, bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. And so Pence ends up taking a plea deal, and he gets sentenced to 7 years in prison. Meanwhile, his wife, Michelle, is left to take care of their 16 kids all alone. And she apparently has to rely on charity to survive. Yikes.
For over 30 years.
So this guy pretends to be the son of a famous celebrity, and that somehow made Will Smith gay.
Caramel in a Reese's? Okay, I have a few questions. Oh, cool. That clears it up. Thanks.
So this guy pretends to be the son of a famous celebrity, and that somehow made Will Smith gay. Wait, let me explain. So there's this dude, his name's David, and David is 19, he's living in New York City, and one night in 1983, he and his friend are out, and they're trying to get into a club, Studio 54. So they wait in line for like an hour, and when they finally get to the door, the bouncer tells them, it's gonna be $50 each. And David's like, well, we ain't got $50. Because, you know, they're teenagers, they're broke, they can't pay that entry fee, and so they leave. But then, as they're leaving, David gets an idea. He's like, why don't we pretend to be celebrities, kids? Then they'll have to let us in. And then he's like, you pretend to be Gregory Peck's son, and I'll pretend to be Sidney Poitier's son. And his friend hears this crazy idea, and he's like, alright. Now, if you don't know, Sidney Poitier is an actor, and this is 1983, so he's super famous at this time. He's the first black actor to win the Oscar for Best Actor, so his name carries a lot of weight during this period. And so David and his friend, they get back in line, and it takes like an hour and a half for them to get to the door again, and somehow the bouncer doesn't recognize them. And David tells them that they're the sons of these famous actors, and just like that, boom, the bouncer ushers them into the club. And let me tell you, this club is popping. So everyone's looking good, and there are celebrities and famous people everywhere. This is the kind of life David has always wanted. And immediately, he's like, well, I gotta keep doing this. And that's what he does. Because 3 days later, he tries again. He walks into a nice bistro, and he tells the doorman that he wants a table for two because his dad, Sidney Poitier, is going to be joining him later. And kaboom, they immediately give him a table, and the restaurant staff is all nice to him, and they're giving him immaculate service. He's ordering all his food, and they send over free drinks to the table. Now, obviously, Sidney Poitier never shows up, and the staff is like, your dad's probably busy, whatever, your meal is on the house. And so it worked again, flawlessly. And that is when David decides he's going to keep going as long as possible. Hell, he might even try and get rich off this. But then, bro has a crazy stroke of luck. Because one day, he's visiting a friend at a Connecticut college. And there, he steals another student's address book out of his dorm room. And that student just happens to be kind of rich and has well-connected parents. So now, David has the addresses and phone numbers of all these rich people some of them happen to live back in New York City. And this is when he really starts making a name for himself. He starts calling all these well-connected people and basically telling them a bullshit story about how he's Sidney Poitier's kid, and they believe him and they let him hang out. And so he gets to hang out with like Calvin Klein and Melanie Griffith and Gary Sinise. He's the guy who later played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Gary Sinise let him stay the night in the apartment he was living in. And sometimes David will get them to lend him money. So he's like making money off of this. And it just continues to work. Like he'll hit up another rich person, and then another one, and then another one. And soon he's hit up a dozen houses out of this address book that he stole. And every time they'll let him hang out or stay the night, or they'll give him cash. And as stupid as that sounds, bro is pulling it off. No one really questions him, and no one seems to suspect a thing. Until one day, all that changes. Because David is flipping through that address book when he comes across the name of this couple, Mr. and Mrs. Island. And Mr. Island is the president of a television station, so they got money. They're kind of important people. So David cold calls them, and he tells them he's David Portier, and that he's a friend of their daughter's, and that he was just mugged, and that he really needs a place to stay the night while he waits for his famous dad to get home. And Mr. and Mrs. Iceland are like, oh, you're Sidney Poitier's son? Sure, you can come stay with us. And so David goes over to their place, and he has a nice dinner with them. He stays the night. And of course, when he's leaving the next day, he asks them to loan him some cash. Because, you know, he just got mugged. And they're like, sure, here's some money. Then the next day, David hits up another wealthy couple from the address book, Mr. and Mrs. Elliott. And he tells them the same bullshit story that he got mugged and that he's Sidney Poitier's son and that he just needs somewhere to crash for the night while he waits for his famous father to get home. And the Elliots are like, sure, come over. And so then David is at the Elliots' place and he eats dinner with them and they're super nice to him and they give him a guest room to sleep in. But this is where he screws up. He asks the Elliots to wake him up early the next morning so that he can go for a jog. But here's the thing. At some point during the night, I guess David feels like smashing. So he low-key invites a friend over, like a booty call, and sneaks that friend into the Elliots' guest bedroom to smash. And he's openly gay.
Choose to get out there. Choose your calling. Choose to make memories. Mazda, we craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
No, I'm gonna be cheesy because Nova Scotia is somebody I would love to date. Nova Scotia is somebody I would swipe right. Romance, history. Nova Scotia is something to go back to.
Hey, by the way, which in the 80s is a lot more taboo than it is now. Now it's really not. But regardless, the next morning, Mrs. Elliott heads over to the bedroom to wake him up. And kaboom! She catches him, all snuggled up in bed with some scruffy-looking dude, and she's like, oh my heavens! And so the Elliots are pissed. And they're like, you're not Sidney Poitier's son! Who are you? Get the f*** out of our house! And so David leaves. Here's the thing, though. David doesn't realize that the Elliots just happen to be close friends with the Islands. And Mrs. Elliott is super upset, and she wants to vent. So she calls her good friend, Mrs. Island, and she tells her about how they got conned by this teenager claiming to be Sidney Poitier's son. And Mrs. Island is like, holy shit, we got conned by that same kid just the night before. But whatever, they shrug it off, thinking, yeah, we'll never hear from that kid ever again, probably. But then, the Elliott's phone rings, and it's David. And he's like all apologizing to them for lying, saying that he feels bad. And then he asks Mr. Elliott if he would meet him in Greenwich Village. I guess so he can apologize in person. Although he's probably just trying to finesse them out of money again. Anyway, so Mr. Elliott's like, sure buddy, let's meet. But after he hangs up the phone, he calls the police. Later, David shows up to Greenwich Village to meet Mr. Elliott. And police are already there, and bam, they arrest him. Here's a mugshot of him. And so he takes a plea deal, and he's ordered to pay any money back to the victims that he had conned, but lucky for him, he does avoid prison time. But then he fails to pay his victims back, and they catch him conning again, still telling people that he's Sidney Poitier's son, and so bam, they throw his ass in prison for about 2 years. Here's the crazy part though. The Elliots actually end up being friends with this playwright. And the playwright loves this story, and he offers to turn it into a play. And so he does, and the play actually becomes a big hit.
Who knows Sidney Poitier? So just call him and ask him.
Then, in 1990, they turned that play into a movie called 6 Degrees of Separation, starring Will Smith. And Will Smith plays a character based on David, who is openly gay, just like David.
Hey, Paul, come on, stop that. I was wondering if I could you.
And so there's like this whole kissing scene that Will Smith has to participate in, and here it is, it's whatever. Now, this was apparently Will Smith's first breakthrough movie role. And allegedly, this role started this rumor that Will is secretly gay or bisexual. And search it up, that rumor still persists to this day, 35 years later. Like, people are still like, oh, I heard Will Smith is secretly gay. Which, by the way, there's not any credible evidence to suggest that he is, nor do I really care. It's just, an interesting story. And a huge shout out to Leonardo.ai for sponsoring this video. If you make videos and you want to make really badass art for those videos, like this or like this, look at how cool that is. Sign up for Leonardo.ai. If you remember the movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid, you probably remember this tree scene. Well, the child actor playing this bush here actually ends up murdering someone. It's crazy. Now, his name is Ryan. He's 9, he's from Squamish, British Columbia, and Ryan is young, but he already knows he wants to be an actor. So one day, he auditions for a commercial, and boom, he gets the part. So he keeps going, and eventually he gets a small role in a TV movie. And soon he's in other movies and TV shows, and people are like, you're going places, kid! And a few years later, when he's around 12 years old, he lands a small role in the movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He's the kid who plays the bush in the school play. And it's a small role in a big movie, but this is a huge deal for him. And so he just keeps acting small roles here and there, and eventually, a couple years later, he gets a lead role in a movie.
Hi, I'm Ryan Grantham, and I'm playing the role of Edward.
And so it feels like his acting career is finally getting traction. He gets a small role on a show called Falling Skies, and on another show called iZombie. Then he gets cast in 2 episodes of Supernatural. 4 years after that, he's cast in an episode of Riverdale.
He told the police he did it, to protect me, but it wasn't him.
And that's all great for Ryan, but here's the thing about all this acting he's doing. He's working, he's getting roles here and there, some promising stuff, but he's not landing A-list parts like he wants. Like, nothing is making him this famous movie star, and this really starts to weigh on Ryan. And soon enough, he's really down about it. Like, really down. He's battling with depression, and it just sucks for him. And by the way, this is a really common thing with actors. They see making it as a big Hollywood star as the very definition of success, as opposed to just being a working actor who gets a lot of smaller roles here and there. And so they, like Ryan, when they don't make it big time, like Timothée Chalamet or whoever, they'll start to see themselves as a failure, instead of seeing themselves as someone who is working a job doing something they really love, which a lot of people don't have the privilege of getting to do. Like, I personally think it's cool he was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Falling Skies, and Riverdale. Like, that's a cool little resume to me, especially at 21 years old. Like, that sounds like success to me, but I guess it doesn't to Ryan. So, for whatever reason, Ryan doesn't tell anyone. He keeps it to himself and acts as if everything is okay. And around this time, he's going to college. And in college, he's having a really hard time there, too. He's bummed out, and he's isolating himself, and he starts having a lot of really dark thoughts. And apparently, to combat all this, he gets really into alcohol and Zaza. Until, as things keep getting worse for Ryan, he starts spending more and more time online, specifically on the dark web, which can be a really messed up place. I guess he gets really into watching these like really violent videos. A lot of these videos are apparently of people being executed, like that's what he's consuming all day. And eventually Ryan gets into such a bad mental state, he just stops going to class. And all of this is putting him in a headspace where he wants to unalive himself. And then he starts thinking about what it might feel like to unalive someone else. Like I said, he's having a lot of really dark thoughts. And at some point in all this, he starts to come up with this plan. A plan to unalive someone. But the person he wants to take out isn't some rival classmate who works at Burger King or something. Ryan wants to unalive the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Specifically, he plans to drive to where the Prime Minister lives, open fire on the place, and set it ablaze. Why he specifically chooses Trudeau as a target is actually unclear. Ryan doesn't seem like a very political guy, but apparently for some reason he just really hates Trudeau. Anyway, so he thinks through this plan, and yeah, he's gonna do it. And then he goes to the store and he buys himself a new rifle. Here's the thing though, when it comes to this plan, Ryan can't stop thinking about his mom, who we'll just call Mom. And Mom is a sweet woman who he still lives with, and she has always supported his acting dreams. And Ryan, he keeps thinking that if he were to unalive the Prime Minister, then his name would be all over the news, and his mom would know that her son is a killer, and it would destroy her. And Ryan doesn't want to destroy her, he doesn't want her to have to face that shame. So he decides that the merciful thing to do would be to unalive her first, so that she never finds out. Now Mom, she frequently plays the piano, and when she does, she's totally absorbed in the music and the playing, and Ryan has this thing where he'll like rehearse the hit, he'll sneak up behind her while she's playing, and he'll point his pew-pew at the back of her head, and he'll mimic the shooting, and she's completely oblivious to what's going on. But anyway, then the big day finally comes, and it's go time. And so Mom is at the piano and she's playing away, and that's when Ryan grabs his rifle and he sneaks up behind her and he points it at her head and he pulls the trigger.
You are formally invited to enjoy your first smooth Hershey's dark chocolate after your not so enjoyable first date. Make room for speed.
Tanger Outlets. Find all the best brands, all on sale every day. Step into this season's newest arrivals.
Blam! And Mom falls to the floor and she's unalive. Then, for whatever reason, Ryan gets his GoPro and he turns it on and he records himself. He's like, hey, I just murdered my mom, and then he turns the camera to show the body. And as crazy as all this is a lot for Ryan to process, and he needs to chill. So he goes out and he buys some beer and some Zaza, and then he comes back home and he hangs out and he watches Netflix for a couple of hours, while Mom's body is still there, lying on the floor. And before he goes to sleep, he throws a sheet over his mom to cover her up. Now, in the morning, he's ready to carry out the second part of his plan. Take out Justin Trudeau. So he packs up his car with 3 pew-pews, a ton of ammunition, a bunch of Molotov cocktails he made, camping supplies, and a printed Google map with directions to Trudeau's house. Then he takes off and he drives for a few hours, for about 150 miles. And on this drive, he starts really thinking hard about what he's about to do. Like, is he really going to drive all the way across Canada to unalive the Prime Minister? Because I look at that map, that's a really long drive. It's about 45 hours. So Ryan, he starts to change his mind, and he starts thinking of other options he could do. Like, maybe I'll just go back to my college and unalive a bunch of people there, or maybe I'll go to the Lionsgate Bridge in Vancouver and unalive a bunch of people there. And so, for whatever reason, he suddenly decides to turn his car around and he starts driving back. Now, here's where things get even more weird, because on this drive, I guess he thinks about it more and more. Does he really want to unalive people at his school or at the bridge in Vancouver? And I guess the answer is no, because instead of doing that, he drives to Vancouver, right to the police station, and he walks up to an officer who's sitting in a parked car, and he's like, hi, I unalived my mom. Now, it isn't clear exactly why Ryan changed his mind suddenly, but he seems to be mentally just all over the place. Like, he wants to unalive himself, then he suddenly has this plan to unalive Trudeau, but then he wants to unalive his mom first, and when he changes his mind, decides to hit up his school and the fridge. If this plan feels scattered to you, it's because it is. Regardless, eventually, bam, police arrest him. And I don't have a mugshot, but he's an actor, so here's his headshot. And he ultimately pleads guilty to second-degree murder, and he's sentenced to life in prison.
A&W stackers are here. Single, double, or triple pack. And starting at just $3.99, you can get a whole stack. Oh no, we're only stacking patties. Stack and save with A&W stackers.
So this turd, he's trying to get internet famous by poisoning a bunch of people? Now the guy, he goes by the name Wolfie, and he's 27, and Wolfie apparently doesn't have a lot going on in his life, and one day, I guess, he decides, I'm gonna be internet famous. So, how does he plan to get internet famous? Well, he's not gonna do TikTok dances, and he's certainly not gonna live stream himself playing Elden Ring. No. He's gonna go the Johnny Somali route. He's gonna make what we'll call comedy for the unemployed. AKA, he's gonna film himself harassing people. And that is exactly what he does. He films himself doing all kinds of awful stunts, like going into a restaurant and slapping some girl's food onto the floor and then running away. Yeah, he's that kind of influencer. And for some reason, people like to watch this junk, so his videos like this perform really well. Not only that, he also gets into doing stunts that are actually pretty dangerous, like this one where he films himself carrying a bag of ice into what looks like a Jack-in-the-Box. And Wolfie just walks back into the kitchen, and with all the employees watching, he suddenly just dumps the bag of ice into the deep fryer. Which I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I don't want my video getting flagged for dangerous acts, but he dumps the ice into the deep fryer. Now, ice being dumped into a deep fryer may not seem like a big deal, but when you do that, when you throw ice into a deep fryer, it creates a sudden reaction that causes hot oil to bubble over, and the oil gets everywhere and it can easily cause a fire. Not to mention that this older gentleman here is probably going to have to spend the rest of the night cleaning that mess up. But whatever, Wolfie doesn't seem to care because he just keeps posting more and more of these stunts. And he gets more and more followers, and a lot of his videos start blowing up. And some of them get millions of views, like this one where he puts a mask on at night and pretends to bum rush an unsuspecting bystander. And it's not just these select videos that I'm showing you. Nearly every video he does is just him being a turd to random people. Like here he films himself tossing a cake over a mall balcony. And of course, when this big guy gets mad and he gets up to go after him, Wolfie runs away because why would he face the consequences of his actions? And here he is at some kind of bar knocking down someone's Jenga game, and if you slow down the footage, you can see the pieces falling here. And here he films himself putting a bungee cord around the front doors of a Goodwill store with a bunch of people inside it.
No. You guys are locked in there. Forever.
And here he sneaks into the back of a fast food restaurant and he throws a watermelon into the deep fryer. And here it looks like he goes to a local overpass and sprays some pedestrians with a fire extinguisher. And one of the worst things he does, although not the worst thing he does in my opinion, is that he films this older guy at the laundromat, and he waits for the guy to walk away. Then he goes up to the guy's machine and he throws raw bacon and some eggs into the dryer with the guy's clothes. Which is not just unnecessarily mean, it's also really sad. Old man didn't deserve any of that. He's just trying to wash his khakis for work or whatever. But old Wolfie, he doesn't seem to care, because at some point he starts making decent money from this. He claims he's making anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month doing this. I mean, that's a pretty good living for being an asshole a few days a week. So bro is getting paid, his videos are doing well, and his social media is blowing up. And there seems to be no real repercussions for him being a jerk to people for just a little bit of internet fame. Until... Now at this point in the story, Wolfie has made all kinds of videos, messing with strangers, harassing fast food workers, and I'm only showing you some of them because, you get it, he sucks. But one night, Wolfie gets an idea that's going to change all of that. He comes up with this plan to go into a local Walmart and film himself spraying some of the food with bug spray. And that's exactly what he does. He goes into the store, he starts filming, and he picks up a can of bug spray, and he starts spraying it on the produce. Now, bug spray is poison, and this is considered a dangerous act, and I'm tired of my videos getting removed, so again, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I will show you some screenshots. So here he sprays the bananas, he sprays the yams, he sprays the lemons, he sprays the apples, the tomatoes, and the worst for me is when he goes over to the prepared foods and he sprays some rotisserie chickens. And then, of course, he just leaves, and I guess he goes home and he posts the video. And immediately, people who see it are pissed off. From what I understand, even his own audience is like, what the bro? People eat that. And so Wolfie, I guess he tries to cover his ass, and so he goes back into the Walmart and he puts everything he sprayed into a shopping cart, and he claims that he threw it all away. And you could see it here in the caption in the video. He says, threw them all away. Which, I don't know if he really did buy all that food and throw it away, but I kind of don't care. I don't think that necessarily makes the situation better. Like, he sprayed the entire area with basically a poison. Now Walmart employees need to sanitize that whole area so that future food they put there doesn't get bug spray on it. Anyway, then, I guess, still trying to cover his ass, he allegedly tries to delete that video, but unfortunately for him, it's too late. People have already copied it and saved it, and those copies start blowing the up. And this story starts spreading, and it makes the news, and people see it, and they're disgusted, and rightfully so. So they start reporting him to the local police. And through his social media, pretty quickly, police figure out who he is. And they reach out to him, and he ends up turning himself in, and so, bam, here's his mugshot. And also, here's a little footage of him in court if you want to see that. And he's charged with introducing poison, which is a felony. He's also charged with criminal damage, endangerment, and by the way, it was so nice of him to document all the evidence prosecution is going to use against him later. Like, I'm sure they appreciate him getting it all on video for them. you're not going to want to hear. But we've been seeing videos like this on the internet for over a decade now, maybe longer, where an influencer will build up this whole business model of harassing strangers in public. And we've seen them be successful at it. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I don't think it's going away. Like Wolfie, he might go away, and Johnny Somali, he might go away, but terrible internet pranksters as a whole, I don't see an end to it. Like, we're gonna be like 70 years old, like, oh, these damn internet pranksters, get off my lawn. So even if we get rid of Wolfie, you know a copycat will pop up sometime next month. But there is some good news though. I can no longer find his TikTok account, so I assume TikTok did the right thing and they banned him once this story blew up. But as of right now, his Instagram account is still up. Hopefully Meta does the right thing and banned him too, but you know, no one expects much out of Meta. Also, I'm sorry, but bro is 27 years old, which 27 is not old, but it's way too old to be an internet prankster troll. Bro is not a troll, he's just a bum. Anyway, I'm not trying to be rude, I just hope he learns something from all this while he sits in jail. It's like, this is not good. So this guy is rich. I mean like $230 million rich. Because he stole it. And then he went wild. Now the guy's name is Malone. He's 20 years old and he's really into crypto. And one day in 2024, he and his buddies are all in a chat. And one of them is like, hey bro, let's find someone who has millions of dollars in Bitcoin and scam them out of it. And Malone hears this idea and he's like, alright. And so they search around and they finally decide on a target, this seemingly random yet wealthy investor living in DC who we'll just call Investor. And so the guys deep dive and they get Investor's information and they get his phone number and they call him from a spoofed number pretending to be Google tech support like, hello sir, your personal accounts have been compromised. Then afterwards they call Investor from a different number and they say they're from his cryptocurrency exchange. I'm calling to alert you that your account has been hacked. And once Investor believes he's been hacked, it's easy to convince him to reset his security information. Then the boys get him to share his screen, which exposes the private keys to his Bitcoin wallet. Once they get Investor's private keys, they use them to access his Bitcoin wallet, and boom, Malone and his bros secretly transfer over 4,100 Bitcoin out of the account and over to themselves. And at this time, 4,100 Bitcoin is worth around $230 million. $230 million! Oh, I gotta leave. And of course, Malone and his friends are like, holy sh! They can't believe this actually worked. And so they're freaking out and they're celebrating in the chat, and for some reason, one of their friends is recording the whole chat.
No way. No way.
Now, this recording of them celebrating is gonna be very important later. But whatever, right now, these guys are suddenly richer than they've ever imagined. Not only that, they're smart enough to know they gotta cover their tracks. Since every transaction on the blockchain is publicly viewable, they make all this really hard to track by splitting the coin into different accounts, and yeah, blah blah blah, boring crypto stuff. They move the money around to make it untraceable. That's all you need to know. And so Malone and his bros suddenly have this insane amount of money, which they've never had before. So now it's time to start spending it. Now Malone's friends, they don't really do all that much with it, not right away. Oh, but Malone does. Malone goes wild. He becomes like a cartoon parody of a rich person. Like he gets some fancy new drip, including diamonds embedded in his glasses. He and his friends are flying around on private jets, and he starts renting this huge waterfront mansion in Miami that costs, wait for it, $68,000 a month. $68,000 a month for rent. And of course, he buys all the cars he's ever wanted. No, really, like bro buys like 30 exotic cars. Damn, how much is he driving? He even got a Lamborghini with his name painted on the side. He also goes out to clubs and gets bottle service everywhere, just because he can. Oh, and he doesn't buy the cheap bullshit bottle service. No, let me tell you how much this guy spends. Dude regularly goes out to the club and drops anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 a night. a night. He buys the most expensive champagne, he tips everyone, the staff's putting his name up in lights. I mean, they love him because when the dude's there, he buys drinks all night.
Why did a table come in tonight and spend $300,000 on bottles like it was nothing?
And he always tips the staff well with money and alcohol.
He need a tip for $2,000. When I tell you the amount of bottles he sent me that I took home, brand new, everything sealed.
And of course, Malone doesn't forget about the ladies. I mean, he's got to try and buy their love too. I mean, he'll buy a $50,000 Birkin. It's like a purse. He'll buy $50,000 purses and go to the club and just hand them out to pretty women like, hey, this is for you. I guess he's hoping they'll smash with him. I mean, some of the women later make TikToks about it.
He comes towards me and he's like, I got this for you. Guys, I can't even make this joke when I say that. I just woke up to a Birkin in my bedroom because a man gave it to me in the club last night.
But I guess poor Malone ends up learning the hard way that not everyone can be bought. Because at one point, he tries to buy a pink Lamborghini Urus for some woman, supposedly they had dated before, and so he buys it and he